Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big bang. Wherever there's a hang, you'll find a Spider-Man.
Hey, what is up, everyone? It is I, DPX here. Welcome back to another episode of DPX Talks for about an hour. Very different episode today. Not the first spoiler discussion I've done, but the first one I've done instead of a normal episode. But regardless, we got joining me today, Zachary Attacks, or I'll just refer to him as Zach, who's someone I've been trying to get on for a while, and in this spoiler discussion, I finally got on. What's up, Zach?
Good morning.
Yeah. Funny, it is not morning. It's actually 11 p.m. So yeah, that's this episode probably actually last until like the next day, if I'm gonna be honest. But
it's gotta be the longest podcast the last day.
So yeah, we're here to talk Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, well, the title was your first spoiler warning. Right now, this is your second spoiler warning. Alright, so if you don't want to be spoiled, click off this video. If you...
Just to be clear, this podcast is a spoiler podcast, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
So, like, if you're still here, that means you've seen the movie, or you haven't seen the movie and you don't care and you just want to listen to me and, I guess, listen to Zach as well. In that case, thanks. Gus will probably join later on. He's a little busy at the moment. We've actually been waiting, not to throw dirt at him, but we've been waiting for quite a bit for him. I'm like, dude, we'll just start and you'll join later. But whatever, that's not the case. We're talking No Way Home spoilers. So I did a whole review for it, so I don't really want to repeat my initial thoughts. But Zach, if you can give me a mini review, what would you say? Oh fuck, your audio.
Look, I keep forgetting to push the button on. This is awkward.
Okay.
I keep thinking about the ending. It's just very emotional, and I'm not gonna lie, last night kind of cried because when I rewatched it,
Yeah, you rewatched it?
Well, at least clips on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Dude, those fuckers, actually, the YouTube algorithm just loves to recommend those to you before you've seen the movie. That's so annoying. Relax. I haven't seen the movie yet, but regardless,
But then after you see the movie and you want to rewatch the clips,
you fucking hunt those down, because after blocking them from your recommended page, you hunt those down, you unblock them. But well, first of all, let's touch on the elephant in the room, or the spider in the room, or the two spiders in the room. I almost said Andrew Maguire. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are back, and it didn't fully kick in until recently, just how crazy that Tobey Maguire, this franchise has been rebooted twice since he played Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, his Spider-Man was a failed experiment. I'm not saying his Spider-Man was bad, but his movies were a failed experiment, and they're both back. It's I never thought we'd see this. Crazy, right, Zach?
I mean, yeah. I've always, I looked at the leaks for months, but I never thought they were real, to be honest.
Yeah, I always, I remember Sam Raimi signed on to direct Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and there are people speculating, will Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man show up? I'm like, that's not happening. Are you fucking stupid? That's not happening. And then there are rumors that Tobey and Andrew were showing up in No Way Home. I'm like, that's not happening. Even when it became more than rumors and it actually became leaks from credible sources, I'm like, this isn't happening. And then you hear that Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is coming back. And then you heard that Jamie Foxx's Electro is coming back. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute.
And the trailer drops and you see the Lizard and Green Goblin.
Yeah, and Sandman. Yeah, it's nuts, bro. This isn't the Spider-Man movie I dreamt of That's because I never thought of this movie as, like, a possibility. This never, like, once came... This is, like... How do you say... This never once came to me that this could happen. You know?
Like, why would these two giant companies do something so good?
Yeah, it's nuts. What are your thoughts, on, I guess, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up?
I think it was great. All, like, the scenes that they had, they put, like, everything in. Like, they didn't put too much, they didn't put too little, and
yeah, that was, like... This ran the risk of just being fan service, nostalgia bait, but, like, it's not, you know? Like, each character, like, Toby and Andrew are, like, actual supporting characters. I actually wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting them to become, like, supporting characters.
I completely expected them to come in and save Aunt May, to be honest. Like, when Aunt May was on the ground and Green Goblin was flying, 100% I was expecting another spiderweb to, like, you know, and then they'd meet their surprise entrance instead of the way that they did.
Yeah.
Pretty
I think we should talk about Aunt May as well. Like, she did something in this movie. Because, like, in No Way Home... Well, this is No Way Home. In Far From Home and Homecoming, she was sort of just the hot aunt, you know? Which, yeah... Because, I mean, if you look at her, but she's not, she wasn't anything more than that, really. And so in this movie, she's sort of like, I don't know, the Uncle Ben of this Spider-Man, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she tells Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, and it's like, okay, I guess there's a reason we never saw, like, we don't know, this Spider-Man's Uncle Ben. Because maybe that drove him to become Spider-Man, but it's not like, you know, what gave him the, I don't know, what's the word? The mental strength, I guess. So yeah, and that moment where Aunt May died, like, that was a tough moment, for sure. What were some of your favorite moments, Zach?
I loved it when Andrew Garfield saved MJ. That was great.
That was so good. In Amazing Spider-Man 2, if you watch that back, Gwen Stacy's death, that was, like, a big, like, dark and good narrative moment, but, like, what led to that, like, if you watch the movie back, basically what happened was Spider-Man was fighting Electro and Green Goblin. Gwen Stacy, who is not, like, a hero or anything, is like, no, I'm not joking. She's like, no, it's my decision to be here. I can be here if I want to. And it's like, and then she fucking dies. You don't really feel for her. But they made you feel, they kind of made you feel for, what was that?
Kind of a dumbass, why'd you say?
Yeah, no, but then they kind of made you feel for her in this movie, if you know what I mean. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man gets that sort of, like, redemption. He gets to redeem himself by saving MJ. That was a great balance as well between, like, you know, satisfying, like, emotional moment and also kind of funny with, like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, that was...
Yeah, right? Because she had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, why are you crying in my arm?
Yeah, like, he gets that redemption. Also, Tobey Maguire, he's also, like... I kind of like how he's sort of just... He seems like just an older, wiser version of Spider-Man, you know? That's sort of, like... I think he's, like, in his 40s now, so, like... He's definitely, like, normally seems a little old to be playing Spider-Man, but definitely, like, as an older, wiser, like, alternate version of this character, it's, great, yeah. The villains, too. I thought, Alfred Molina and, Willem Dafoe especially, they play these characters in this movie as if, like... like they've never stopped, like as if they've been playing these characters since the original movies. Like they're amazing. Electro is different though. Electro is like the most foreign from this original.
Yeah, there's a huge plot hole because Electro never actually found out Peter Parker was Spider-Man, and that's a huge plot hole.
Oh shit, that's true.
Yeah, let alone he looks different. Like a huge plot hole. But
yeah, I was.
We don't have to talk about that.
I was honestly expecting like I was honestly expecting there to be a line where with like to Electro saying like, "Hey, I thought you were blue. What happened?"
Sure.
I was expecting that, and I heard someone say this once, and it is kind of true. This wasn't the same character. This was just Jamie Foxx. This is just but he was still pretty cool. Like this is definitely a better version of Electro, and Electro isn't black in the comics. Like this is still like he's still pretty cool. My problem with the older Electro wasn't that he was black. It was that he was fucking stupid, fucking blue. He looked like a humanoid egg, a blue humanoid egg. I kind of thought of that on the fly, but like I think it's true. Like that's what he looks like. So yeah, and the Lizard and Sandman, they don't really do much. Sandman's motives here were a little odd because like just before he died in Spider-Man 3, he gets
Sandman never died.
Well, I don't know if he did or not actually, because
he didn't.
Sandman and the Lizard I don't think ever died in
they never died
in their movies. So, and then but obviously Green Goblin and Electro, I think Electro dies. It was kind of unclear if he did. But Doc Ock definitely died, but he died like he wasn't killed by Spider-Man, so I guess it's weird. One let's see, what else can we... Oh yeah, the very beginning. We get to see Matt Murdock in here.
Oh, man.
That was nuts. That was crazy.
I wasn't all surprised. It was one of the things I spelled for myself accidentally by scrolling through YouTube, but it's pretty pog.
Pogger. No, but like, bro, like that's huge. And they just sort of just nonchalantly just like, oh yeah, here's his Matt Murdock. He's a good lawyer,
I'd say he's a pretty good lawyer.
Yeah, no, but like, especially after the most recent episode of Hawkeye with the Kingpin being there, like, do you see they're now like they're bringing back the Netflix characters, like, like this is Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and like the Kingpin in Hawkeye was Vincent D'Onofrio, I'm pretty sure, as Kingpin. So like, so I think like I don't know if they'll be the same characters. Like obviously they're the same. It's still Daredevil, it's still Kingpin, and it's still the same actors. But I don't think like I still don't think those Netflix shows happened in this universe. I think like
technically they did, but Netflix is not going to let them get away with that because Netflix and Disney Plus, and their enemies.
It was sort of weird. Like the Netflix shows were kind of in the MCU, but kind of not. I don't know, but like
they were 100% in the MCU, but they couldn't really acknowledge it.
Yeah, it was a strange sort of scenario, but now Daredevil is in the MCU. Even if like they didn't like, even though he's just like Matt Murdock, as from what we've seen, and like Wilson Fisk is at least like the Kingpin. We haven't really seen Matt Murdock as Daredevil necessarily. We saw him as a good lawyer,
but John's an amazing lawyer.
But still, like that was Sorry, that was definitely a nice touch, and it was just a nice cameo too. It was just nonchalant. I'm ringing Gus again, by the way. It was just nonchalant. They just threw him in there. But it wasn't like I made that sound like it was nostalgia bait. It wasn't nostalgia bait. It was just, well, first of all, nostalgia bait would mean like Daredevil is a part of like the older Spider-Man films. Like no. I mean, like it was definitely fan service, I guess, but like it was a nice cameo. It made sense because Matt Murdock is a lawyer, and it also made sense because now you introduce this character into the MCU. Zach, anything to say on Daredevil or Matt Murdock?
Yeah, he's a pretty good lawyer, and not much else to say. He's a pretty good lawyer.
Fuck. Yeah. See what like? There's so much we can talk about this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like what? Like. I don't know. Like.
Post-credit scene, pog chant moment.
That was, I think Venom was a bit of a plot hole. Like, how did Venom know about Spider-Man? But then I realized,
because he said, "You go."
You know, I told you an explanation, but I don't think that was correct. What I was told earlier, though, the Venom from Tobey Maguire's universe probably led to the Tom Hardy Venom coming into the MCU. I think that's still a bit of a plot hole, though. I guess.
No, what happened is in the Venom post-credit scene, Venom said a hive mind of knowledge, blah blah blah, and a hive mind is basically like a brain shared between every species, and he said across the universes. So that means that the Venom from the Tobey Maguire ones share the hive mind from Tom Hardy's Venom. So they basically have the same brain.
Yeah, that's what.
So the one from Tobey Maguire's was like Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So if you were to look at space, you'd probably see a lot of symbiotes. To be honest.
Yeah, that is what I meant. I know I sound like, yeah, totally. That's what I meant. But no, that I did mean that. Like that is what I was told because I remember hive mind being used. But yeah, no, like, but it was sort of like, I don't know, weird, I guess. You bring Venom into the MCU just to pull him out. And like, if that's the case, they could have actually had him, like, imagine this. The villains of this movie almost made up like a Sinister Six, except there's 5 of them. Imagine if Venom was the 6th one. That would have been amazing. That would have been so cool.
So there's theories going around where Flash is gonna take over the Venom, get that Venom symbiote on him.
Ooh, I never thought about that. Ooh, that sounds. Ooh, I like that. I like that.
But I feel like if they were doing that, they easily could have said, like, put a little line in there that said Flash was going to Mexico because that's where it happened. But
that's true, but like,
that's it on a really giant cliffhanger.
He seems he seems some percentage of Mexican, like, maybe.
That is true.
So maybe, I don't know, he just happens to have family in Mexico, I guess, or whatever, and he ends up there.
He could be going before college.
And he gets infected by the symbiote. I never thought about that. And like, before this, Flash has never really, in the Spider-Man movies, Flash Thompson has always just been like the bully, that Peter just beats the shit out of eventually. And in this trilogy, he's just like
a giant fanboy.
Yeah, well, in this movie he was a giant fanboy, but like in this trilogy he's more just comic relief. But now, like, if he gets the symbiote, then like, shit, man, like, that's big. Like, he's doing something now. So yeah, there's that. The ending, with Peter Parker forgetting, or everyone forgetting Peter Parker as Spider-Man. I didn't think they would do that. honestly, like, I didn't want this to happen, but I thought there was a good possibility that they were gonna have him, like, go to an alternate reality with the same characters and everything, but, like, not in the MCU. So, like, Tom Holland is still Spider-Man, but, you know, but Sony now does the Spider-Man films. But they didn't do that. He's still in the MCU. And, like, so, I don't know, it's interesting to see where this character goes next. That would be, like, how do I say this? If they were to end it here, if Spider-Man, if this, like, was just his end game, you know, if he wasn't in the MCU anymore, this would be a great way to end it, you know, and would explain why Spider-Man's just not, like, a part of the Avengers anymore, because no one remembers him. That would make a lot of sense, but Tom Holland signed on to do more films, so they're doing more. So
but at the
now,
same time, he also said that he doesn't want to do more films. Something he said.
I think I know what like interview you're talking about, and I think he was kind of clipped out of context. I don't know, because I think I heard like some clarification on that one, but you know, so I'm interested to see like where it goes next. You know, I'm interested because what could possibly happen is remember that line where what's his face, where Ned said, "Don't worry, I won't become a supervillain and try to kill you."
True.
In the comics, he becomes Hobgoblin, which is basically Green Goblin but orange. I guess they couldn't just call him Orange Goblin. That doesn't sound as good as Green Goblin or even Hobgoblin. So, yeah, maybe Ned becomes Hobgoblin.
Yeah, I mean they can literally do anything.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen next with this character with Spider-Man and Peter. Zach, any predictions? Any theories?
Well, with Peter, to be honest, it's gonna be such a long time before we see him again, which really freaking sucks. But they can quite literally do anything they want with him. They can. Because they left the possibility open that, like, the Avengers know who Spider-Man is, so if he wants to get his old life back on track, he can literally just, like, go up to Doctor Strange and take off his mask, and boom.
Yeah.
They know who he is. But, like, or he can keep it a secret and be your friendly. You know, they can do literally anything.
Yeah, I don't know. This seems to be, like, maybe now we're getting like normal Spider-Man movies where he's just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not the Stark shit, you know. Yeah. Which I never minded the Stark stuff, you know. I never minded that much. A lot of people took issue with that, but I never took issue with that really. But it would be interesting to see just a rather normal Spider-Man story in the MCU. And, you know, I heard this in a review, and I agree. This was sort of just one big, long... Why did I use both those words? But one long, glorified Spider-Man origin story in disguise. Yeah. That kind of rings true.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, yeah, we didn't see him become Spider-Man, but we see him become Spider-Man. That sounded stupid, but I mean, like, we never see him
Spider-Boy to Spider-Man.
Exactly. We never saw him become Spider-Boy. We never saw him become Spider-Teen. We got introduced to him as Spider-Teen. Now we see him as Spider-Man, you know. And I think that was like this. You give this character an arc, and that's what I love about this movie too. They gave everyone in this movie an arc. I think every single character in this movie got an arc. Like Peter got an arc.
Peter 2 got an arc. Peter 3 got.
You don't need to worry about what I almost just said again. But yeah, Peter 2 got an arc. Peter 3 got an arc. Aunt May got an arc. Ned kind of got an arc with being able to do magic.
Oh, yeah.
MJ kind of got an arc. She wasn't like just a total, pessimist about everything. Even the villains got an arc, So I love that. Zach, you have anything else to add before talk about more specific things?
It was great. There's too much really, and I can't really talk that loud right now for reading. So.
All right. Well, let's see. There was the one after credits scene. I was kind of hoping we'd save that for last, but fuck it, we'll talk about it now. The one after credits scene, which was more just a trailer, or I guess teaser. It was more the length of a teaser for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which that seems to be the next big Marvel movie, especially since it is the next Marvel movie that's the next on the schedule. But the next I think that's going to be the next biggest Marvel movie just because of everything it's dealing with. And there's Wanda's in it. At first that was just a rumor, I think. I don't know if that was outright confirmed before. Confirmed. Okay, well, now it is hard confirmed because we saw her in the trailer. There's rumors that Loki, Phase 1 Loki is going to be in Doctor Strange. There are rumors that Agatha Harkness is going to be in Doctor Strange. Honestly, I don't even know if these rumors are still are still going, but there were rumors that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were going to appear in Doctor Strange. I don't know if they will, although I said that about No Way Home, but that one made sense. I don't know if it would make as much sense for them to appear in Doctor Strange, but and then also you got Doctor Strange Supreme in that
is I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, that's
can't wait to see how they transfer him over from animated to.
I know how you do that. You take Benedict Cumberbatch.
I know, but how are they?
There you go.
Yeah.
No, I get what you mean though. That's kind of crazy. You take What If, which was really I really didn't think it was just gonna be anything more than just what if stories that were animated, but they're tying that into the live action MCU. That's really cool.
That goes to a question for What If Season 2. Is it going to be a continuation of each of the episodes, or is it going to follow up
it's going to be more
where the
stories.
Watcher ended off?
It's going to be more stories.
Is that confirmed?
I don't think that's confirmed, but I think you're only asking that question because we talked about that yesterday, and or the other day, and I mentioned that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's really running that possibility. I think that was just something I came up with, but that would be cool. I'm interested to see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Hey, that's the movie that comes out by my birthday, so I know what I'm doing for my birthday. Back to Spider-Man though, this movie, I think we gotta talk about one of the flaws. It wasn't really a flaw I mentioned in my review. I mentioned it briefly, but then I kind of just oh, Gus is online again. Hopefully he'll. Oh, what's up, Gus?
Oh, Jesus.
He's muted. I think he's.
Imagine being muted.
No. So what was I gonna? I've completely forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, it was the one issue I kind of had with this movie, but I was able to ignore it just because the rest of the movie, and the movie overall is really good. I thought the setup was a bit, just the beginning of the movie felt a little bit rushed, and then the whole setup with Peter going to Doctor Strange, just to be hey, people don't like me. Can you make them forget I'm Spider-Man, please? Alright, fine, shut up. Make everyone forget. It was kind of that's what it seemed like in the trailer, and it did kind of play out like that. Doctor Strange is a little more reluctant in the actual movie than he seemed in the trailer, but I didn't care that much because like it was still entertaining. It was still fun. The rest of the movie more than made up for it. Way more than made up for it, to the point where I'm just letting you know at my end of year movie ranking, I'm doing a tier list now. In previous years, I just ranked them from worst to best. This time, I'm doing a tier list. This is an S tier. I'm straight up. It's an S tier. But yeah, the setup was a bit odd, but it more than made up for it. Zach, what did you think about the setup of the movie?
It was definitely rushed, and it definitely did make up for it. But I mean, I feel like they could have done a lot more in the beginning, to be honest, because it was only, it wasn't even 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And I mean, I mentioned this to you before this podcast, but there was confirmed to be a scene with Morgan Starr. It's pretty fog, but they cut it out of the movie.
Yeah.
Like they could have added a lot more, in my opinion, to not only make the beginning less rushed, but to just add more.
Well, the movie's already like an hour and a half long. I feel like you just said it's not.
It wasn't even 2 hours and a half. It wasn't even 2.5 hours. They could have easily made it longer.
That's what I meant to say. Wait, it wasn't 2.5 hours long?
2 hours, 28 minutes.
Oh, well.
Basically.
Yeah, I understand why they left out the Morgan Stark scene, because I did mention this to you before we started, but like, where could they have put that? I don't think there was a single scene. Like you said, maybe with Happy, but like, I still don't know like what scene with Happy they could have put that. Like where they could
just be chilling in her car, in the car, like in the back seat, like, hey, Happy, get a cheeseburger.
Yeah. Can I get a cheeseburger? I like that. That's cool. Yeah, but yeah, and see what else is there. Hope Gus can unmute soon. Like take.
You have so many spiders in your bed.
Oh, yo, it's Gus. All right. You able to talk now? Wait, huh? What'd you say?
I said I'm Gus from another multiverse.
Oh, okay. Oh, from another multiverse. So, like, not even in the same multiverse as us. Okay. I know you meant to say universe, but,
yes.
So, like, are you able to talk now? Or, you
yes.
still... Okay, good.
No, I'm good.
So, yeah, Zach and I have been talking for, 30 minutes now. Guys, this is Gus, everybody.
I'm back. Hello. I never even appeared yet, but I am here now.
Oh no, you've been in other. Nice to meet you, Gus 2.
Nice to meet you.
This is Gus 2 from Earth 2. Bam.
No, it's really just Gus 1, but yeah, Gus 2, Gus 1. I'll be called whatever, Gus. It's okay.
All right. So, anyways, we talked about quite a bit. We kind of briefly talked about everything, but yeah, I guess, Gus, what are your overall thoughts of the movie? And since this is a spoiler discussion, spoilery thoughts, I guess, as well.
Well, I told you this when we were walking out. It's definitely got. I want to watch it again. But I feel like even if I didn't watch it again for a while, and like maybe until it was to come out on like streaming or like on DVD or something, it's definitely in my top 5 of all time, like movie wise. It's just so iconic, so nostalgic, but it still manages to like be its own story in a way, and it's really cool how it like all kind of just wraps up to be this one complete story. Because I know Tom Holland's returning as Spider-Man, but I think that's the end of the Home trilogy.
Yeah.
I think I've heard. So it's just a really cool way to wrap it up. So it's just literally, honestly, I'd say the best comic book movie I've ever seen, probably.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, when you said it wraps up the Home trilogy, which is something I've called it, but I didn't think about this. I think the next Spider-Man movie should not have Home in the title. just to like
Yeah, I just
drive
thought
home,
about that too.
just to like drive home the point that like this is a fresh new beginning, if you know what I mean.
What's it gonna be though?
Honestly,
We should make a prediction.
I think they should call. This is gonna sound lame, but hear me out. I think they should call the next Spider-Man movie Spider-Man 4, because there's never been a Spider-Man 4, and because of that,
True.
there's never been a movie called Spider-Man 4.
The thing is, they're gonna have to put something in front of that because otherwise people are gonna get it confused with Tobey Maguire, and they're gonna be like,
There's,
"Oh, Tobey Maguire."
there's no Spider-Man 4.
Well, I guess.
I know, but people are gonna assume that it's like a continuation of Tobey
I guess.
Maguire.
I guess in the way that like you got Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, and then you have Amazing Spider-Man 2, then Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, and then Spider-Man 4. But this isn't the Spider-Man 4 that came after Spider-Man 3. It's the Spider-Man 4 that came after No Way Home. But like I'm just saying, like I wouldn't mind if it was called Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
Or at least
Okay.
make a pun like Back for Blood. Yeah, that's what they're gonna call it. Spider-Man's gone
Back for
fucking
Blood.
evil. Yeah, just Gus, what were some of your favorite moments in the movie? And then Zach, I don't even know if I asked you that, so I'll ask you.
I was gonna ask you guys what your favorite scenes were as well.
Alright, well, I'll go
No,
around
also,
then.
also just to add, DPX, you look like the Green Goblin.
Oh, roasted.
No,
I'll
it's a
take
good
that as
thing.
a compliment. Yeah, the Green Goblin's fucking cool. Alright,
Um,
I'll take that. I guess I guess I did get Spider-Man out.
I guess so. Yeah, so I'd say my favorite scene that I don't know if everybody. I mean, I definitely heard everybody cheering for the scene, but I don't know if it's a lot of people's favorite. But I like Andrew Garfield's redemption scene.
Oh yeah.
That
when
was
he
so
saves
good.
MJ.
That was my
Yeah.
favorite too.
Yeah,
He was-
Zach
the
and
way
I.
he was-
Sorry.
No. Just the way he was choking up and shit, and then like it was
Oh,
crazy because like finally, like let's go.
Yeah, Zach and I were talking about that earlier. That's like, you give redemption, or maybe like not really redemption to us, because like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man never really like ruined himself for us, but like he redeems himself for himself, if you know what I mean. And like I recently watched Amazing Spider-Man 2 because I rewatched all the Spider-Man films. I would never watch that movie otherwise. But if you watch, like, yeah, Gwen Stacy dying, that's a big, like, powerful and grim good narrative point. Even if there's no follow-up, but still, like, at the time, that's still a good, like, narrative, like, choice. But have you seen, like, what led up to her death? It was very stupid. She basically, Spider-Man, I'm repeating myself here, but I'm saying it to Gus now. Spider-Man was fighting Green Goblin and Electro and was telling, "Yo, Gwen, you can't be here. What are you doing here?" And then Gwen's like, "No, I can be here if I want to. I am me." And she fucking dies. Of course you're gonna fucking die.
God dang it.
But like, no, what I'm trying to get at here is, like, they kind of made you care for her death in a way in this movie, That's what
No, I agree.
yeah, like, and it balances, I said this too, it balances, like, a powerful emotional moment with humor, This is, like, a funny moment done right in the MCU, which can be a little hit or miss sometimes. Like, the jokes, I don't say are bad, but they're often misplaced. This was well balanced. Sorry about that, Gus. You only named one thing. You have anything else to say?
Yeah, it's most of the end scenes were just like the show stealers, but I like the lead up until the big like three of them posing. I love like seeing them all three of them running at the same time, throwing the masks on, and then just all three of them swinging. I thought was even cooler than the big pose. Like just seeing them all in action was so cool.
Oh, that was so cool. That part gives me chills, bro. Like chills everywhere. Like that was so cool.
It is pretty sick, and I think there's some. It's just the whole movie is so good. I just honestly.
I love the lab scene. Sorry to take a shot.
I think I don't mean to go for like the big I feel like I'm saying the big spoiler scenes, but I just love when it opens the portals too. Like he doesn't even realize what he does at first, and then I like kind of like the reveal is like so like low key. It's not like a big like, oh, there's Toby, oh, there's Andrew. It's like who's that? You can't tell if it's actually Tom Holland or someone that's like, oh shit, this could be one of the other ones. And he's running out the portal, and then it's like you can see the CGI. It's like Spider-Man, and he's like, hey, how's it going? And you can tell it's his voice, and he takes off the mask. It's like, oh, so this is how they're doing it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're not even. Just the fact that they're not even cameos and they have like whole like
they were whole like supporting characters, and they had arcs. Like that was
that was insane. No, it's literally like something to be so celebrated about. It's so insane that this actually happened.
Yeah, Zach, what were some of your favorite moments of the movie?
I feel like I keep saying this, but it's literally. Like I liked when they referenced the memes, like when Norman said he was a scientist because he obviously is an amazing scientist.
I love that.
I didn't even catch that until you said it afterwards, and then I started seeing the meme pop up again. So that was very funny.
Toby's back problems.
I think I don't know if. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling they referenced the Spider-Man pointing meme.
They did somewhere. I don't know. I thought maybe it was.
I might be getting confused with Spider-Verse, but like, if I am getting confused with Spider-Verse, they absolutely did in Spider-Verse. But if I am getting confused, then that's kind of stupid of me because one's animated and the other's live action. So
they did it in the lab.
Yeah.
I guess that is what it was.
Speaking of things I didn't notice originally, there are two things I didn't notice originally. One was something that I've heard everyone mention. In the moment where Doctor Strange says, like, they're all coming through and I can't stop them, and there's, like, the little purple rips, I noticed that there were silhouettes. I didn't notice this, and apparently everyone else did, too. No, everyone else did at first, so I guess I'm the only one who didn't notice this. There were silhouettes for, like, Rhino and Scorpion and Black Cat and Kraven the Hunter.
I did hear about that as well. I didn't notice it either, though.
Yeah, like, so that's a nice touch. They're making a Kraven the Hunter movie, but Scorpion and Black Cat are two villains I would actually really like to see in a Spider-Man movie. And I think Black Cat was supposed to be in I could be wrong. I think she was supposed to be in the fourth Raimi film that got canceled. Scorpion was just never, I guess. Dude, I think there was like a Lego set that was leaked for this movie before the first trailer came out. It was like a few months before the first trailer came out, so no one was talking about this when the trailer actually dropped. But Scorpion was a part of that Lego set. So that was fucking weird. I don't think that Lego set has ever resurfaced or anything, so I don't know what the fuck was up with that. But, so, and the other thing I didn't notice, and I don't think anyone else has noticed this, because I've never heard anyone mention this, which is weird, because it's actually quite it's kind of on the nose, if you know what I mean, but in a good way. The part where Tobey Maguire calls Andrew Garfield amazing, like, that's a nice nod, because he was the Amazing Spider-Man, This is, I've heard nobody, like, mention that. No one, like, pick up on that, and, like, I'm not saying I'm really smart for knowing that, but, like, I'm just saying that's a really cool, like, nod. Gus nods.
No, I am here.
I guess, some of my favorite moments, obviously, like, you guys kind of mentioned them all. When they're all standing together on the Statue of Liberty. In fact, no, fuck that. Every scene that Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield share together. Every scene with them.
Can I just say the whole movie then?
Yeah. The moment where Daredevil showed up. I'll ask you for your thoughts on that in a sec.
I was gonna ask. That was the next question I had for you guys.
Yeah. The part where Daredevil showed up. Andrew Garfield saving MJ. I love how these how Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in this movie. They're still Peter Parker. They're still Spider-Man. So we kind of have to refer them by their actors' names.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
So I guess for now on we'll just refer them as Toby and Andrew because it's probably easier that way. But yeah, no, I love that. I love the ending was. You know what? I think this might be the best ending to a Spider-Man film.
The saddest ending.
Yeah, it's definitely bittersweet because I feel like MJ might have a clue like of who he is, not like of Spider-Man, but like still, might have like a clue.
I was expecting when they're at the coffee shop, I was actually expecting her to be like, "Do I know you?" Which obviously doesn't hint that she remembers him, but like I was expecting. The other thing I was expecting was after Peter left the coffee shop, I was expecting her to actually go over to Ned and be like, "Hey, do you know that guy?"
Yeah.
Or something like that. I guess not. I guess Peter's just gonna have to like rebuild his relationship with them, which I guess is like a good. I guess like new arc for him.
I was a little confused why he didn't go up to Ned, but I guess he only wanted to go up to his girlfriend. I guess that made more sense.
No, I'm sure he wanted to go up to both of them, but then he realized that they both got into MIT and was like,
"Yeah,
I'm not gonna ruin anything here." So he just got a coffee.
He just got coffee.
Yeah. Honestly, they could have if they didn't do any more Spider-Man in the MCU, this would have been a great place to end it on. But they're doing more. Tom Holland's signed on to do more, and I said this earlier before you joined, Gus. This was sort of a longer, glorified origin story for Spider-Man. Without Uncle Ben and all that, but still, it was like a glorified, elongated origin story, and I think it's great as that. Alright, we talked about this earlier, but you weren't here, Gus. Daredevil, what are your thoughts on Daredevil appearing?
So, I actually had no clue who the hell it was. I was like, oh, who has a cane? And I saw the cane, and I saw a little wrist piece, and then I saw the red glasses, and I was like, oh shit, that's Daredevil. And I was actually looking at you guys, and then the theater, I was like, no shit, no way. And I was like, that's so crazy. So it's definitely something I want to watch now after realizing who it was. And it was just a sick cameo, because now you don't know if he's going to be, other Netflix characters are going to come in now. I just love how the whole MCU is expanding now with the multiverse and everything. So,
and that even raised another question: are the Netflix characters from another universe, or are they just a part of the MCU? Because
true.
They were kind of maybe in the MCU, but not really. It was weird, and then also honestly, I would like to see a team-up movie between Spider-Man and Daredevil. A lot of people say, oh, just give Spider-Man his own movie. Daredevil is one villain. What the fuck? Is one character that Spidey can team up with. And I think they have teamed up in the comics, and it was pretty sick. So yeah, sorry, were you done there, Gus? Kind of cut you off.
No, that was really it, but I had another thing. I'm not sure if you guys went over. Ned says in the in one point in the movie when he has a little when he figures out how he has powers and he tells Spider-Man something like, "Oh, I'm not going to become a supervillain and kill you."
Talk about that,
how he sees the possibility of Hobgoblin coming into the MCU.
Yeah, because he was Hobgoblin in the comics. I think he was interviewed rather recently about Hobgoblin, and he said that it would be cool to be Hobgoblin, I guess. And I guess since he doesn't remember Peter Parker, I guess it's he could become I don't know what would drive him to become Hobgoblin, but
Yeah, nothing. I don't think would. I just don't think it's a cool theory, and I think it might just be a little Easter egg, honestly.
Oh, it could be. I didn't think about that. That might have just been an Easter egg, but yeah. Another thing Zach brought up earlier is what if the symbiote that Eddie left behind, which I guess we'll talk. We'll see your thoughts on that whole mid-credit scene later. But he said, what if the symbiote goes on to Flash Thompson?
No. I hate him.
That would be very interesting, though, because Flash has always just been, like, the bully and nothing more, and then in this trilogy, he's just been, like, the comic relief. Now he's kind of, if he gets the symbiote, I mean, he's Venom, you know?
I heard something like, what if Peter got, like, part of it or something, and that's how he gets, like, his white lining on his suit? Like, I heard that's, like, something
that's how Venom gets the white Spider-Man symbol on this. Yeah, could. I don't know. Like, it could. I think it's more likely to actually go on to Peter than Flash. But I don't know. Like in the, I think in the Spider-Man PS4 game, the sequel, I think Harry Osborn is gonna be Venom. Because they're. Yeah. So like, I'm not saying that Harry Osborn is gonna be Venom in the MCU. But what I am saying is Venom could take the symbiote can go on to characters you probably don't expect it to go on to, you know. So, yeah.
Something that they did confirm in this movie is that Osborn does not exist in the MCU. 100%.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense, because if he did, it would kind of just be like, you know, I feel like Norman Osborn would have to have like a much bigger presence in the MCU if he did exist. So for him to just randomly be introduced and it's like, oh yeah, I'm here and I also have Oscorp, by the way. So like, yeah. Gus, what were your thoughts on the Venom after credits scene?
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was just really there for laughs, honestly. I thought it would have been cool if he would have stayed. I didn't expect him to actually get sent back to his like universe, because I haven't seen the post credit scene and Let There Be Carnage, but you guys were saying how Tom Holland's Spider-Man was on the news or something. So I thought he would have possibly stayed there, and that would have been like his I guess him just trying to figure out everything that's happened. I don't know, because he was drunk in that scene too. So I don't know.
I found it a little disappointing how they just brought Tom Hardy into the MCU just to boot him out, and it, you know, something did come of that. The symbiote was there, but what would have been cool? Me and my brother were talking about this. The movie almost had a Sinister Six kind of vibe, you know, with the villains.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What if cool. Venom was the sixth one? That would have been crazy.
That would be insane. But I think Tom Hardy, if anything, I hope he gets to play Venom, if anything. If we do get a Venom, like, in Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Because what if he just comes back to the MCU in the Multiverse of Madness?
That would be cool, too.
So he just comes to the MCU just to leave, just to come back to the MCU. Probably just to leave again, no less. So, yeah. But yeah, this movie is nuts. The fan service, a lot of people, I want to touch on this for a second. A lot of people like to say that fan service is a bad thing. Fan service is not a bad thing. Fan service that isn't earned is a bad thing. You know, if it's just like a bunch of nostalgia bait, if it's like, hey, you remember this character? What about this character? Man, these guys were so cool. That's not really, and you don't have much merit there. Like, The Rise of Skywalker, for example, I've heard this movie kind of been compared to that, but in a good way, like how this is a better version of that. That literally just brings back a bunch of, like, that brings back Lando, and it's just like, hey, remember Lando? Yeah, he's here. he's perfect now. It's like, but like they brought back Toby and Andrew, and they're like, they're not perfect characters. That's what I really like. Like they're like Andrew is like, he said he's never able to forgive himself for letting Gwen Stacy die. And that's just really I really like how they did that. Now, Zach, you mentioned this yesterday. I actually haven't heard this from anywhere else other than you, to be honest. So hey, maybe if this isn't true and you just made up some bullshit, maybe which I don't believe you did, but maybe this is the first time anyone's hearing of this. But you said they're apparently trying to get Toby and Andrew
I wanted to talk about this.
To be in Secret Invasion. And if so, that is nuts. Like, just because, like, you got Toby and Andrew now playing Spider-Man kind of long-ish term, That's crazy.
So, can you guys explain to me what Secret Invasion is? Because I heard something about it the other day, and I wasn't sure what it was exactly. I know it's a comic.
It's like with the Skrulls.
Yeah,
I know.
And
I'm not entirely sure what it is, to be honest.
they invade Earth and take over the world, basically.
Yeah.
So,
I watched a quick video on it, and like it was like Spider-Man was revealed to be a Skrull, and Captain America, like half the Avengers were Skrulls, and half the government was Skrulls. And
it's interesting how they're making a series of Secret Invasion.
Zach is a Skrull.
Yeah, I'm literally a Skrull. Sorry.
I'm literally.
All right, I'm gonna go back to space now. See you guys.
Alright, bye, Zach.
Bye, Zach.
Want to plug your
I'll
shit?
tell Nick Fury I said hi.
We will. We'll tell Nick Fury you said hi. Hey, yo, Nick. But yeah, so yeah, that's interesting. And something I mentioned earlier, Gus, before you were here, like, believe it or not, as crazy as Toby and Andrew being in this movie is, it didn't fully kick in, until later on. Like, Tobey Maguire, this fucking franchise has been rebooted twice since he played this character.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, his Spider-Man was like a failed
I just lost
experiment.
my AirPod. I'll be back in a minute.
Alright. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, like, his movies were... Wow, Zach with the holiday pants. That sort of just distracted me. No, Andrew Garfield, though, his Spider-Man movies were like a failed experiment. I never thought we'd see him back. And we see both of them back.
I know.
Like, that, I just can't, like, honestly, everything we talk about just circles back to Toby and Andrew being in this movie, but, like, how else would we do this? Like, it has to,
And I was going to add, too, like, when I was, like, the original Spider-Man came out the year I was born, so those are the Spider-Mans my mom was watching. So those are the ones I was raised on. So when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man got announced, I was so excited to see a new Spider-Man. So even though those movies are kind of shit on, I always have a soft spot for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I always thought he did so good. And then obviously there's Tom Holland, which is like the MCU Spider-Man. So it's just crazy to all see it come into one. It's like insane. Just like 3 generations in one movie.
Yeah, that's crazy. Rank your Spider-Mans. Like, rank Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire from worst to best. They're all really good, don't get me wrong.
Oh, we have to rank them?
Yeah, if you can. I probably could. I'll go first, if it's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd say number 1... I said worst to best, but I'm doing best from worst. Actually, I'll do worst. Andrew Garfield is number 3. He's still really good, though. Like, it's still, like, the worst is still really good, Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland. I'm not, like, Andrew Garfield isn't, like, much worse than Tobey Maguire. I feel like it's, like, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and then, I don't know where, but, then Tom Holland. So yeah, they're Gus. What's your ranking?
So this is a tough one because I actually like the original Spider-Man more for the villains. So I don't want to put Tobey Maguire in third. So I think I would go number 1, Tom Holland, number 2, Toby, and then number 3, Andrew.
So, we share the same ranking, I guess. Zach.
Oh,
I'm not saying you're copying. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not saying you're copying me. Zach, how would you rank the 3 Spider-Men?
Well, I think I'll put Toby on the bottom because I liked Andrew. I mean, his movies weren't great, but I think as a Spider-Man and as a Peter Parker, he was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the style that they did on him. So, just to also change it up a bit, I'll put him number 2. And obviously, Tom Holland number 1 for obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons, he says.
Yeah, no, I think Tom Holland seems to be the unanimous best Spider-Man, but it's all subjective. I've heard a lot of people say Tobey's their favorite, and I've heard a lot of people say Andrew's their favorite. And to each their own, I totally understand why for each of them, because they're both really good.
I would actually say that Tobey and Tom are interchangeable, because if it wasn't for this movie, I actually would say Tobey would still be better. But just because of this movie's sake, I think just Tom is better just because of this movie's sake. Because he's the main Spider-Man, and he's the one who, asked for the wish. So I have to give it to him. Even though his wish was based off of something different, and he didn't intend for, universes to collide, but you know what I mean.
Honestly, you know what? If for Andrew Garfield, I feel like if his Amazing Spider-Man trilogy went to plan, and we got to see more of him as Spider-Man, he probably would have beaten Tobey Maguire. But
yeah, I would have loved to see the third one.
Yeah. But yeah, so this movie is crazy. Honestly, the beginning's a little messy, a little rushed. They seem to, the trailers, I noticed the trailers seem to be more about, how will Spider-Man deal with all the, public opinion of oh, you're a murderer, yeah. The movie wasn't really about that necessarily. The main conflict of the movie was, because of that, but... so they kind of rushed through that plot line, but honestly, the rest of the movie more than makes up for it. I didn't even realize how rushed that the beginning was once we got to the end, because I didn't give a shit, Gus, what were your thoughts on the, because Zach and I talked about this. So Gus, what were your thoughts on the post-credit scene for that was basically just a trailer for Doctor Strange?
It definitely
by the way. Sorry.
Definitely gets me hyped. So I heard a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is one of the scariest movies in the MCU." But honestly,
it's supposed to have some horror elements, I think.
Yeah, it looks so that. I mean, Doctor Strange, it's not one of my favorite MCU movies, but it's definitely up there just because of the visuals and everything. So I got so hyped through this movie just because of that reason. Mm-hmm. And just seeing Wanda in that garden or wherever she was, I'm not sure where she was exactly, but it looks so cool. I'm excited to see what those two have to do together. It's like a wizard and a witch working together. That's right up my alley. That sounds so sick. So. And I'll have to watch What If soon because Zach was telling me that I don't know his name, but Evil Doctor Strange or something is there, and I saw him. So that it looks pretty sick. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. And similarly to how no one's talking about it now because all the talk is on Spider-Man, of course, but similarly to how Spider-Man, just a few months ago, everyone was all talking about rumors about the old villains coming back, and then Tobey and Andrew, and then Daredevil, and then Venom, who was rumored a little bit. I think Doctor Strange kind of has a few characters rumored to be in there that would kind of make this movie crazy, Wanda's already in there, Strange Supreme is already in there, but Agatha Harkness is heavily rumored. Loki was rumored for a little bit, Phase 1 Loki, and I think the Toby and Andrew rumors actually originally started as being a part of Doctor Strange, believe it or not. So, yeah, if they're in this movie, that would be crazy. Yeah, anything else to say before we wrap up?
I think we've covered everything.
Well, final thoughts. Wait, Gus, it sounded like you were about to say something.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot. It was
Sorry.
something about No, it was something even a bit further. Actually, you go ahead because it might be something you might bring up.
I was gonna say final thoughts on the movie, but that should probably be the last thing we talk about, of course, because it's the final thoughts.
Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say.
What were your thoughts on the villains? I never asked you about what you thought about the villains.
So, I think Doc Ock always steals the show because he's just like, I know he's a villain, but I feel in a way he's kind of like the anti-villain because like, he's a nice guy, but like his chip gets fried. So
I'm sorry to interrupt you here. Remember how you said I kind of look like Green Goblin?
Yeah,
You kind of look like Doc Ock.
Oh.
And Zach's Andrew Garfield. Look at that.
Yeah, I
Zach-
actually kind of am.
Zach's the lizard.
Zach is a lizard
I
person,
see.
confirmed.
Zach's the Sandman. No,
Sorry.
but yeah,
keep
no,
going.
I absolutely love Doc Ock's character. He's so sick, and I think Willem Dafoe kills it in any role he's in.
Yeah,
I wasn't too
definitely.
familiar with his. I haven't seen the original first Spider-Man. The only Spider-Man I actually watched before seeing this was Spider-Man 2 and The Amazing Spider-Man, because I actually never ever watched the Amazing Spider-Man when it first came out. So this was my second time watching it, The Amazing Spider-Man. So it was still kind of new to me. And I always kind of like Jamie Foxx's. What's his name? Electric or something. I always kind of liked him. Go ahead. No, it's alright.
I mentioned this earlier when I was talking with Zach. Like, Electro is just a completely different character in this movie. Yeah, no,
definitely.
Like, he's just Jamie Foxx in this movie, and I think that's better because I said this earlier, and I kind of thought of this on the fly, but I think it's true. In Amazing Spider-Man 2, Electro looks like a blue humanoid egg.
He kind of does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they gave him like the classic like outfit in this movie too, which I really liked.
Yeah, made out of the electric. Yeah, that was so sick.
Yeah.
That really was sick.
And
he also said the little Miles Morales Easter egg in there too.
Yeah,
so
that was cool.
there should be a Black Spider-Man out there, and then this is a question I want to ask you too. I know it's kind of like switching subjects, but since you've seen it twice now, was the first crowd reaction better, or was your second crowd reaction better?
The first crowd.
Really? Was the
I'm
second one
kind of
bad?
surprised. The second crowd laughed a lot more than the first crowd. Yeah, but the second crowd really only applauded when Toby and Andrew showed up.
Yeah.
Everyone was sort of like remember when we saw it? We all saw it together. In case you guys don't know, but remember when we saw it and when Daredevil showed up and everyone was all like, "What?"
Yeah, getting crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. That was sort of the reaction to Daredevil in my second viewing. But like, people started to applaud for Green Goblin when we saw it. No one really applauded for Green Goblin. No, dude, nobody even applauded for.
Doc Ock. No one applauded for him.
Yeah,
I think.
Dude, nobody even applauded for that scene when the three of them were were on the Statue of Liberty. Although I did hear a lot of people getting excited, but no one clapped or anything, which was weird. Yeah, when we saw it, our theater was pretty hyped. So yeah. So. Final thoughts, all in all. We'll go around. Gus, final thoughts on this movie.
I feel like a lot of people said this for Infinity War and Endgame, but even if you're not a fan of superhero movies or comic book movies, this is a must-see. It's so good, and there's some like small plot points here and there that seem like unsolved, but all in all, it's just honestly an 11 out of 10 movie. It's the best movie I've seen in a while. Just go see it. Like, there's some things we haven't even said. You have to see it for yourself. Like, I feel like even if you did get spoiled for this movie, you still have to see it because it's honestly so good.
Yeah, like I got spoiled when specifically Andrew Garfield saving MJ got spoiled to me, which also then spoiled Andrew Garfield. But like even then, like, just seeing how that played out was like, you gotta actually see it. You can't
insane,
just
yeah.
Zach, final thoughts on the movie?
It was pretty pog. Already counting the days until the movie comes out. You know,
I agree with that second statement.
I didn't hear what he said. Actually, your audio kind of.
I'm already counting down the days until the next Spider-Man movie comes out.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't often I don't often buy movies on Blu-ray. That's why I accidentally said Bly, right? I don't often buy movies on Blu-ray, but I think I might buy this one on Blu-ray. Especially since I don't know where the fuck they put these Spider-Man movies on streaming services. They don't put it on Disney Plus. They don't put it on Netflix. I think I'm gonna buy this movie on Blu-ray when it comes out.
I probably am too, honestly.
Yeah. Me, final thoughts. Is it the best Spider-Man movie? I think Spider-Verse is better. That's a very high bar, though. But is this, what's the word? Is this organized all the way around? Is it, like, does it take its time? The beginning would like to say no. But is this a fun time at the movies? Is this a crowd pleaser in every sense of the word? Is this a love letter to fans of Spider-Man? Fuck yes. Absolutely. So that's my final thoughts on the movie. I did a spoiler-free review if you want to hear my more in-depth, non-spoilery thoughts. I don't really want to repeat myself necessarily, so yeah. We'll wrap up here. Zach, thanks for joining me. The first episode on the podcast. I've kind of been trying to get you on for like probably over a year now, and finally got you on. Not even on a rather normal episode, but still, anything you'd like to plug?
Well, my YouTube channel, and basically a pro Fortnite player, so.
Oh no.
Gus, anything you'd like to plug?
Of course, I have my Instagram. You guys can follow me there. That's my most active. And then I have my YouTube, hopefully something soon. Gusbuster 1024. You guys already know.
Alright. And of course, me. If you're on SoundCloud listening to this, go over to my channel and subscribe. If you're on YouTube watching this, go over to my SoundCloud, DPX Talks for about an hour, and follow. We're on that grind on the audio version here, so hopefully you can help me out here. So yeah, we'll be back next month. I'll be back next month. I don't know about these two. Maybe I'll try to get Zach on here again so we can talk about stuff, as I've been trying to do. But I'll at least be back here next month for another episode of DPX Talks for about an hour. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Good morning.
We're all frozen. Okay, bye.